Ah, welcome everyone. Welcome to Drakenmemoria. And for those of you who may be wondering what Drakenmemoria is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons, or more specifically, people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if this isn't what you want to watch, well, too late. We started, and it's most likely going to be what we're going to do next time, and the one after that, and so on. So you're stuck with us. Well, you can always just go somewhere else, but it's. But hey, for everyone else who is there because they actually liked one of our previous session, they've heard about it from one of their friends. They're just bored out of their mind, and they just wanted to have a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons. So they decided to go on the first D&D channel that they found, and for some reason it was ours. Especially since I know that there's at least two more channels more popular than mine currently streaming right now. So usually you would have been, but who knows? So for each and every one of you, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you with us. As you can see, we are short one player. I'd like to give you a reason for that, but I have none. Because I don't know what's going on, and it's very unusual for him to be late like this and not give a reason for it. So let's just hope it's nothing serious and that he's going to join us later on. We're going to give him a few minutes. If he doesn't appear, well, we're going to have his picture art instead. And hopefully at one point it's going to start talking. But until that happens, as always, I'm going to take a little moment to thank Kearney City Guild, who lets us post on their channel to try and get a little bit more viewing, which is something we really need. So please help us. It's extremely appreciated. And it's more fun to watch and talk with your friends in the chat and make fun of us or of one another. As long as you keep it civil, we're not going to prevent you from doing that. And as always, they usually join us half an hour in. But hey, if some of them are already here, Chaotic Calling. Both of them are D&D related. The Chaotic Calling is another channel, which is actually one of the channels that's a bit bigger than mine, that's currently streaming right now, finishing their stream, I believe. And Kearney City Guild is just a Discord channel for people who are looking for a group, to be added to a group, for online, streamed, not streamed, I think even not online, just a billboard if people in the area are playing. So it's for people looking for a bit of D&D in their life. So, well, that's about it. There's not a lot of other people to mention. Right. Let's go to the recap of what has been happening for the past few episodes. Well, simply put, the party members finally got to beginning their last chosen quest, the exploration of an arcane laboratory, a gnomish arcane laboratory, which is bound to be slightly weird in some way from time to time. They entered, well, just before entering, they met a gnome, who was actually there as the liaison for the party and those who were interested in having this laboratory explored. He was the only surviving member of the previous party who entered there, mostly because he didn't enter with them. Stayed outside. It's always a good way to stay safe. But he was getting worried, as since everyone had been gone for a week, he was afraid that no one would be coming out alive. So the party bravely accepted to go in, try and figure out what happened, and uncover whatever mystery this arcane laboratory might have. The first one discovered in the island, in which they are currently adventuring. So they entered, they found their first puzzle, racked their brains, finally found the answer. Then they moved to another room with a new puzzle. And again, they got shocked. Fortunately, not poisoned, but they could have. They got a little bit cold. But they managed, and they kept on exploring, finding a very nice resting area. But since, they were just slightly injured, decided to keep on going. Found what happened to the rest of the party, or at least they think, because they didn't ask how many adventurers entered before. So they think they found everyone. Total 4 adventurers dead. Some heavily cooked, most likely by lightning. Some necrotized to death. And they also found a puzzle, which they learned that if they made too many mistakes, was gonna cost them more and more and more. So they just decided to keep on exploring, trying to find clues about what might be the solution for this particular puzzle. So they made their way back to previous rooms, explored new corridors, found one which had been collapsed, and then found another one which seemed to be an exposition hall, where weapons were displayed and armours were there just at the center of the room, also on display, giving a better feel of what this gnomish mage was best at. So they entered cautiously. Audience decided to pilfer one of the exhibition case. But as he opened the case and touched a weapon, everything closed, and a group of weapons just started to fly in the room. The armor came to life, and then a long, grueling battle started. Of course, for those of you watching, it was extremely long, maybe a little bit tiresome, and not necessarily always very active. But for the players, for the characters, it was a battle which went from being relaxed for some, slightly cautious for others, bewildered on others, and then within a few seconds went from this to dodging attacks, blocking, parrying, swinging blades, slinging spells uninterrupted for an entire minute and even more. But finally, they managed to come out of this fight alive. Apparently, one is a bit distracted because he is not here as of right now. But everyone seems to be alive, winded, because even for audience and Fisher, going from a state of mild exertion to complete combat, dodging attacks from every single direction for a minute straight, it is exhausting. But they managed to come out of it alive. And this is where everyone is right now. So, Jork, Fisher, Remy, audience, which is going to be played by his art. What are you doing?
First of all, is anything do I get the sense that there are additional levels of security past either, I think it was like stage or phase 2 that shot the darts at us?
Well, there's no audible clue that lets you
Okay.
believe that there's going to be something else. You did hear the doors of the room in which you are unlock on each side.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, nothing else, which can lead you to either believe that that was stage 2, or stage 2 is actually waiting for you somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, I wanted to make sure I did this on stream, but I did forget to roll for something throughout that fight.
Okay.
I took at least 5 hits, so let's find out here.
Oh.
Okay, we're fine.
Oh, if detect magic is still
Fine.
Yeah, because technically the fight only lasted a little over 1 minute.
Well, the spell lasts for 10 minutes. The problem is that I forgot to do concentration checks throughout the fight.
Yeah.
We're fine. And one more. And we're fine. Okay. So
Damn.
magically, I still have detect magic still up.
That's pretty good for a rogue.
Well, I mean, I also have a ring of protection, so that's kind of helping here. In fact, I'm saving
right.
2 rolls.
I guess you
with
also
that-
probably had bless for a couple of those.
Also true. So I think
Yeah.
I was pretty solid regardless.
Yeah.
But
actually-
in which case, Raimi is going to start with the aid of detect magic, kind of like
for cool
looking around
stuff.
to see what's valuable that's not destroyed.
All right.
I would like to assist.
All right. Well, in that case, roll for that would be I'd say investigation, unless you're scared of touching anything or just going at this watching with both your hands behind your back and oh.
Like pecking. Fair.
And,
Let's see. Okay, then Fisher definitely helped. 23.
all right. So, the two of you starting to rummage through all of these things, and audience slowly opening his dimensional storage, which you had started to try and do just before the fight started, but, something happened and he stopped. A lot of it's... of course, there was some damage. The equipment itself that went flying and attacked you, most of it bears significant damage on it. So it could probably just store it and sell it for scrap metal. But those things are not usable. Some of the equipment, some of the weapons and other objects like this were damaged, but you get the impression that it was because they weren't enchanted yet. They were just pretty. But with your detect magic also still active. First of all, in the room, just like this, you don't see anything which would suggest additional wards. So that's always good. There's nothing on the display case, nothing on the walls, on the doors, on the floor. Some of the weapons do appear to be of quality that is good enough to be enchanted. but most of them aren't enchanted. In D&D mechanics, this means that a lot of these weapons you would be able to simply bring to someone who can enchant them, and you would be able to have them enchanted at a reduced price, because the weapon has been properly prepared beforehand. But for those that do seem a little enchanted, you see, hold on here, I have this here. I hope I didn't. All right, here we go. All right, so you do find a grand total of 12 weapons, which still look like they have some enchantment, minor enchantment. They're not glowing bright, but minor enchantments. Nothing very impressive. Probably if you compared this to equipment that other members of the group have, the enchantment would feel a bit like Audience's sword, his longsword. So minor enchantment, but still enchanted. On this, you find, you and Fisher, of course, you find 2 greatsword. You find 1 battle axe. A set of 4 knives. Darts. Throwing knives.
Wait, are they? I'm confused. Are they
Darts
daggers, darts, or knives?
In D&D 5th edition, darts, throwing knives, that's pretty much the same thing.
Okay, so for the equivalent of darts, then.
Yeah. It has a pretty a pretty large family for darts. Anything that is small and thrown. So basically, darts, shuriken, throwing knives, butter knives. All right, so, all right, a set of 4. You do have 1 spear. Hold on, is that it? You have 3 longswords.
Presently, I count 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 longswords.
Going down the list like this. 3 longsword, and what am I missing? Oh, yes, 1 mace.
And those are the weapons that are already
enchanted. Yeah,
enchanted.
They do have a little bit of magic to them, something very similar to Audience's longsword. Everything else, you do find a lot of other equipment. In longswords, you find 4 other longswords, which are just, like I said, prepared for enchantment. They would sell for a little bit more if you sold them, or you can have them enchanted at a reduced price. Also, another 4 other battle axe. You have 2 hand axe.
You mean a great axe?
No, hand axe.
No, hand.
He made a lot of things.
Oh, it's 2 hand axes. Okay.
Yeah.
I missed.
Not a
like,
2-handed axe.
Yeah, sorry. You do find a lot more throwing knives, which are also prepared. 10 of them, actually. And one additional greatsword. Don't know why it was so hard for me to get this out of my head. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah. Oh,
Were there any salvageable armors, or was it pretty much all the armors in that room that attacked us?
Yes.
yeah, most of it did attack you, but that's when you said it. That's what I said. Oh, yeah. There's a pair of bracelets which are just seem to be prepared for enchantment. Haven't been enchanted yet, but they would bear. They would be ready to bear an enchantment if you got them enchanted, found someone.
Did you say
Bracers?
bracelets?
Yeah.
Bracers.
Yeah.
It's like oh my god.
And that's about it. Yep.
There are no full suits of armor left.
No. The complete suits of armor wore the 6 armor which attacked you.
Would I be able to, obviously not here, but salvage the stuff here to be able to make myself a suit of plate from the remnants of the armors that attacked us?
Make an investigation roll.
Let's go. Do I get any bonus for having proficiency in smith's tools?
Proficiency in spinning tool. Yeah. Actually, I would give you.
I already have proficiency in investigation, so.
Okay. Well, then in that case, so that there is a bonus, I'd give you advantage.
Don't suck. That is 18.
18. All right. Obviously, the hardest portion of the armor to find something to find enough material to repair is the chest plate, because that's where most of the hit were. But with that kind of roll, and knowing what you can find in the garden, and especially having seen the kind of experiments the gnomes are doing, having spent a few hours walking among them, you think that if you gather everything, you might actually be able to have one full set of armor and a few spare parts.
Cool. Well then, if audience has gotten the storage open,
Yeah,
I'm gonna start.
that's the last thing he
Stocking.
told me he was doing. So yeah, sure, I'm I'm having him open it, and you can all shove whatever you want inside.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
I
gonna
was thinking
start.
if I used mending,
Mending?
I'd have to prepare it. I don't know how much armor we could get out of that, but I don't want to prepare it for a dungeon. It's not worth it.
Well, mending.
Can you? You can't prepare cantrips.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, that's a cantrip. Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would have been better.
Yeah. Rip.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Fisher, are you grabbing any of the already enchanted weapons, or are you just throwing them into dimensional storage?
I will take a great sword.
Okay.
And why not? I'll also take a one of the 3 long swords.
Okay.
All right, I'm marking this down. So
Yeah.
within the dimensional storage.
Well, the question is always, do you want to take them, wear them, see if you can attune to them without identifying them first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remy, do you know that one yet?
I think he's gonna be.
Maybe just holds up a pearl.
Sweet. I mean, you know, I don't think it's super likely that. Would I think it's super likely that a gnome would put like curses or something on stuff he's made so that people won't steal it? That doesn't seem like a gnome thing.
Well, that's the thing. A gnome wouldn't put a devastating curse on something, but he might put a humiliating curse on something.
Mhm.
Just so that you think twice about stealing his stuff, you know?
If you roll a 1, it makes you shit yourself.
So from now on, you can always say, damn, that was a shitty roll. Dum-dum.
Well, I think we should, after we're done piling or stocking this storage space, head back into the main room, and so y'all can take a nap.
I could use a nap.
Maybe just looking at everybody. They look like shit.
Yep.
Well, you know,
Yep. That was a lot.
Yeah, those arrows really did a number on me. I was fine most of the fight.
And you just got hit with like 3 of those arrows. Yeah.
yeah, but mostly it was this awesome duel which lasted a full minute against this flying weapon. An epic fight that Remy stole from you at the last moment.
Or, and hear me out, a random magical flying knife that decided to overthrow its oppressors.
Well, that's always one way of seeing it.
Then,
Hey, Jork had his back turned. He didn't know where that dagger came from.
yeah, dude.
Well, you know, aside from you, he is the one with the highest passive perception.
That's true. I probably.
But I also have the highest passive stealth.
Ooh.
That's right. I love this idea of passive stealth.
Yeah, so if we're done stocking up the dimensional storage, I guess we'll ask audience to close it, and then let's move back into the...
Well, audience is still a bit taken by the beauty of some of those weapons. You know, they're beautifully carved and made, and the only thing he finds to say against them is the fact that they don't have any dragons carved on them. But other than that, some of them are pretty nice.
Yes, they are quite cool. We can look at them more in the other room that is more comfortable.
All right. So you gather everything and you slowly exit this room, looking at the damage that you made behind. You see audience closing the door behind him of the dimensional space. And you all make your way back to the large resting area that you encountered just before entering this. So, get inside.
Is there additional security measures outside the door?
Outside the door, no. Okay. You go out, you look around, and you make a perception roll.
Nine.
Well, then you definitely don't see anything special. Look
I
around.
got a non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. All right, all right. Then definitely Fisher, you definitely don't see anything special. Jorg, you're sure you're not seeing anything special.
Yeah.
So you move up this little corridor that was quite a few feet in distance, but still. You make your way up, go up the slope, and enter this large resting area in which you were. Round resting area with a large carpet at the center of it, and a few places where you can sit and rest. Bit of more of a lounging chair. The sort of Roman style lounging chair. So you enter in there, and one thing you realize first, and especially you, Jorg, with your very good non-natural 20 roll, okay, there is a lot of arrows on the floor here also.
Ooh. Maybe we should be careful sleeping here.
Are they strewn about as if they were shot from the walls, or is it like a pile of arrows somebody left?
It's not a pile of arrow that somebody left, but roll an investigation to see if you can deduce what has happened here.
Here, Raimi, you check that wall. I'll check this one.
That's code for he wants Raimi involved in this.
Except now that I said that, I actually rolled pretty well. That is a non-natural 20 also.
Wow. All right. Well, for the first time, when you start investigating everything and you look around, you look at the arrows and look at how they're oriented, and it does feel like it's probably something very similar to what you just went through in the room before, meaning that at least 2 rooms got showered with arrows. Remy, what did you roll?
I only rolled an 11.
11. Well, in that case, surprisingly, this time, the first time almost since you've known him, he's actually doing a very, very good detective work.
Wow.
In fact, that's the reason why his own investigation was so low, is because he was distracted by how good of a job Fisher was doing. He actually had to go to the couch and sit down. Think about that.
You were so surprised. Your knees started to buckle. I gotta sit down. He's good. So
Speaking of which,
from the go ahead.
Is any of the furniture shredded, or does the furniture seem fine?
Well,
and or it would stand up to if more arrows were shot.
Well, the softest part of the lounging chair is pretty damaged, but the chair itself, the harder part of it, you're not sure if it's metal or stone that they're made of, but they seem to have resisted quite well to the onslaught, the shower of crossbow bolt.
Well then, we all need to rest. This seems to be the best place. So in case, I don't think this is going to happen again without something triggering it. And hopefully we're the only ones here that would trigger anything. But
Fingers crossed.
yeah. So I suggest we try and make a little, I don't know, fort of some kind with this furniture to have shelter if this happens again.
That's a good idea.
Actually,
What else you-
how much space is in the audience's extra dimensional space? And how long can it stay open?
You've actually never left it open for all that long. You think it's... Oh, I'm hearing a whistling sound. Oh!
Hey.
I'm so sorry, guys. I got caught out. I'm so sorry. I was out tonight, and I got caught in I'm so sorry. My fault.
Oh.
All right.
Although I will point out that it was Raimi who first identified the crystal that creates this space.
Yeah.
Would that be knowledge that he would know?
Well, since audience is here right now, audience, Fisher has just asked, just as you arrived, how big is your dimensional storage and how long can the door remain open?
I honestly don't know how long the door. I think the door can remain open until I tell it to be closed. But my storage is fairly. It's like a full room. It's like I'd say like an incised room. Is that correct?
I believe it's 10 by 10 feet.
It's 10 by 10. Okay. Yeah, it's like 10 by 10 feet.
Yeah.
It's fairly large.
Yeah, it's probably decently filled up currently.
Yes, because since the last thing you said last episode was that you are opening your dimensional storage, I started with that, and everyone just poured in everything that they could steal from the display room, and now everyone has gone back to the resting area.
Main room. Okay, the resting area. Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing is there are arrows and or bolts strewn about as if this room was also hit with the same trap that the room we were in was hit with. So
Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way, guys.
It's St.
All right.
Patrick's Day.
That's right. It's St.
Oh.
I completely forgot. Thanks. You as well. And to everyone
See why you were
listening.
Yeah.
but yeah, thinking of a way to not get hit by those if they somehow trigger again while we're trying to take a long rest.
Okay. I assume they probably won't because they were probably triggered by us dealing with the traps or trying to get the stuff from the what I assume is their kind of treasure room. But
That's kind of what I figured.
so
But just in case they weren't, I have started to move the furniture in the room into kind of a wall.
fair enough.
A little, what are they called in English again? A little pillow fort.
Yeah.
All right. And just for your knowledge, audience, Remy has already noted it, but inside of your storage right now, you have two hand axe, two great sword, 5 battle axe, 14 darts, 1 spear, 6 long swords, 1 mace, and 1 pair of bracelet, and the remnants of every single armor that attack you, because Fisher wants to make a full suit. Hopes he can make a full suit of armor with.
Did we
So
were there
some
any
fraction of
shields?
those are.
Were there any shields? Because you said there were some nice shields, or no?
None that survived well. Everything that is here is everything that survived well. Some of them actually have small enchantment with a glow in strength of a magic similar to your longsword. And
Okay.
most of everything else is just weapons that have been prepared for enchantment, a bit like your shield, but haven't been
Okay.
enchanted.
Okay, fair enough.
And
Alright,
if anybody during the long rest wants to hand Raimi any of the weapons that are already enchanted, he'll take the time to identify them.
I was, going to ask you, but yeah, I've got the one great sword that I pulled and the one long sword. Probably go with the if a couple aren't, none of them are, but at the same time.
Okay. So are we just trying to rest right now? Like regain our stats?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they did. They just went back inside the room. They investigated it. This is how they deduced that most likely more than one room was showered with crossbow bolts at the end of the battle. And now they're building a fort out of the furniture that the softest part of it was shredded by bolts, but the main structure of it, since it's made out of either metal or stone, survived it quite well.
I still have 2 cure light wounds if anybody needs any extra healing. I mean, I think I need some extra healing too, but if anyone needs some extra
feel
healing
like
before
we
we
should-
rest.
Because we have to use hit dice for a long rest, right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want to recover, yeah.
Yeah, so we should kind of throw everything.
Yeah.
Before we get spell
I think
slots
Jorg
back.
used all of their spell slots, so
Yeah.
I have 2 spells left. I'm also at 13 HP though, so I low-key need to use at least one on me.
I am
like
at
Raimi is perfectly fine. He can very easily recover to full health on hit dice alone.
Okay.
I am at 8. Jorg, you at 7?
I'm at 7.
Yeah.
But based on percentage, I'm probably higher than you.
I mean, I can definitely use one on. I can use one on someone else if someone needs it, and I can use one on myself and just use 2 each.
Do you have lay on hands left?
No, I used all my lay on hands to
Okay.
keep myself alive. So I just have 2 cure wounds left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he
you-
ate a few critical hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say use the heal Jorg and yourself.
Okay.
should
Then
be
before we
fine.
rest, I'll just use them both now. I'll go over to Jorg and I'll use 1 cure wounds on myself and 1 cure wounds on Jorg. So the first one I'll use on
thank
myself, which is a 1d8 plus 2. So I rolled an 8, so that's 10 for me. So that's 23. And then 1 for Jorg, which is 5. So you gain 7 HP, Jorg.
Thanks. That doubled my current health.
Well, that's both my spell slots, so yeah.
Yeah, and then I think I can take watch if y'all want to sleep.
We probably should before. Are we planning to check out the final room with all the magic in it, or are we planning?
Not
Well, at the end of the
Yeah.
exhibition room, there was a door also.
Okay.
going the other direction, going forward more.
So you could go back to the
but
room.
the basic consensus was, do we want to go in that room when nearly everybody is...
We
Yeah,
all look
probably-
fucked
yeah,
up.
Probably not. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
based.
How's my feedback, by the way, just out of character?
The squealing is there.
I think it's so I figured it out. I think it's to do with because my roommate also has a full streamed setup, like with his mic, and I think it's feedback off of his mic.
Oh.
But I don't know how to fix that.
Unplug it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just mute while I'm not talking then
Okay.
to not create
Yeah.
the feedback.
Yeah. Do like a push to talk thing or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
hopefully, I think I found a place where I can buy some royalty-free music to place in the background. Maybe if it turns out that it's a good place, I might be able to just put that in, and it's going to cover the.
Cover it up. Well, the mute thing is working for now.
All right.
Now it's just my ears that are ringing.
That's normal. All right. So in order, I believe Remy, are you doing this now, or are you waiting until after the long rest to identify things?
He'll go ahead and do it now, just because even if he does it now, he'll still have enough resting hours to get a full rest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I'm using spell slots or anything, so
Yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, identify is on one item at a time.
it's one item at a time. Yes.
Yeah.
I was scared that I interrupted the stream. All right. Okay, meaning it takes 11 minutes. So it's gonna take you a good 2 hours to identify everything. Because every
Yeah, but
time
it
you're
also would have been basically the equivalent of, doing a watch during the night.
well, since
instead of
it's supposed to be
doing
light
much watching,
activity,
you're just doing something.
since it's supposed to be light activity, not even. It's going to be most likely as everyone sit down, takes a few rations out, nibble them something. Damn, that was hard. Can I have a drink? While everyone's doing that, you are concentrating and identifying everything. So, with one exception, everything is just +1 weapon. The great swords, the battle axe, the darts, the spear, and the 3 long swords. They're all +1 weapon. The mace, however, is different than everyone else. You identify it as a mace of disruption.
Ooh,
Hello.
So
that's something I can read.
it's
No, not.
it's
Like
pretty
what's it
metallic.
Yeah.
It's a big metal stick.
So, for those of you who do not know what a Mace of Disruption is, Mace of Disruption, when you hit a fiend or an undead with this magic weapon, that creature takes an extra 2d6 radiant damage if the target has 25 hit points or fewer after taking this damage. It must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or be destroyed. On a successful save, the creature becomes frightened of you until the end of your next turn. While you are holding this weapon, it sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet, and it requires attunement.
It is not the one I thought, but it's still quite good.
I think you were thinking about the Mace of Smiting.
Yes. I feel like those two are named wrong. Like, smiting definitely feels more like radiant damage against fiends and undead, and disruption definitely feels like it's more supposed to be against constructs, right? Like,
No, because the Mace of Destruction comes from a previous edition, and it
okay.
was actually it did the equivalent of a priest turn undead, so you could literally explode undeads as you were hitting them. Could be very impressive when you enter the room filled with skeletons.
So,
I know
so
from
after Randy
experience.
identifies this one, he just kind of sets it off aside from the rest of them, kind of turns toward the rest of the party. It's minor illusions, a skeleton, and then mimics the sound of an explosion.
So he pushes the mace aside, then makes the shape of a skeleton, and then.
Well, that's pretty cool. Is that just skeletons, or is that other things?
So, I guess, would Raby have ever seen the picture of it?
You have
Devil?
been inside the nightmare realm, I remind you.
Right. Okay.
You have seen quite a few undeads in those few moments.
Well, that's like, no, I'm asking if Raby would have ever seen pictures of fiends.
Fiends. Oh, make an arc. Ooh. Yeah, I'd say Arcana or Religion.
So that was obvious then. That'll be 15.
Yeah. Some. You haven't had an extensive research on the subject, but you've seen a few. Probably either the lower ranking ones, those you might actually encounter, or the really, really popular ones. You know, those that the kids keep saying, "Oh, we're gonna," and it looks so cool. I'm gonna paint it on my wooden shield. I know.
Oh, no, I got it. Like, I know exactly what image he's pushing on. So, like, he produces the image of a man's arm with an imp tattoo.
Yeah, no, that'll work.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Followed by a 5-minute reenactment of what you went through when you were in the nightmare realm.
Yeah, so just like, yeah, so that mace is sitting there for those who might want it.
George, in 5 minutes, you see Raimi create a minor illusion of a skeleton, zombies, ghouls, a Draco-Leech, Death Knights, and a jack-o'-lantern.
It's like
I
a
still
horror
don't know
picture
what-
slideshow.
Like, please save your horrified gas until after the presentation.
Yeah. Audience, that kind of seems like your area of expertise. What do you think?
I agree.
Well, it's audience. You can't.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, so effectively Fisher can add a great sword +1 to his inventory, and what was the other one you took? The long sword?
+1 longsword also.
Yeah. So
Would
those
it-
are both
And then
+1.
I'll toss my great axe in the
Do you think
dimensional
Jorg would
space.
have an issue wielding a spear?
No, I think for you, the weapons which could be used are the spear and the darts.
No, the darts do sound pretty cool.
Throwing
This is a
knives.
throwing weapon.
Yeah.
You've ever
Yeah, nobody else wants those, do they?
Uh,
grab-
it's-
I'll grab some throwing darts.
Are you grabbing the enchanted ones?
Yeah, unless you want them, you're probably
Those are
better at throwing than
those
I
are
am.
+1 darts, right?
There are 4 darts that are +1 and 10 which are ready to receive an enchantment but haven't been enchanted.
Okay.
I mean, like I will say to Jorg that you've already seen Raimi using a throwing dagger that keeps coming back to him every time.
Yeah, I figured that would be better
It-
than
it-
the dart.
It oddly looks like the weapon that just destroyed this weapon that you've been having a duel with for the entire combat. It oddly looks
I
like it.
recognize that. It whizzed over my shoulder recently.
But so if you're taking the knives and the spear, then that's 4 +1 darts and 1 +1 spear.
Sweet. Thanks.
And I will remove that from the list.
Sweet. I'm adding those to mine.
And then Raimi, with his -2 strength mod, picks up the longsword. No.
And you hear him say, "It's mine."
No, even better, he picks up the great sword with his -2 and lack of proficiency.
Yeah, that's gonna be very interesting.
No, he gently leaves those in the.
He suddenly loses the ability to be stealthy, because every time he walks with the sword, you hear. All right, so you spend a little bit of time identifying everything. You realize that one was actually a very interesting object. Everything else is still interesting. You know,
Has the potential to be very interesting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you sell some of them. That's going to be an interesting amount of money. But yeah. So, you bed down.
I will
Yep, go ahead.
spend an hour of
Of the 2
for
hours you
rest.
spend identifying everything.
yeah, weapon bonding to the +1 greatsword.
Okay. So, you take the time and you bond with it. You have 2 hours, so you have more than enough time. All right. Anything else anyone would like to do before you all just fall unconscious from sleep? From a much needed sleep?
Well, I mean, his lantern is already lit, but he'll go ahead and put his remaining spell slot in there.
Also,
Just to be sure. Yeah.
So, how does short rests combine with a long rest? Because it says so. First of all, it says you can do weapon bond as part of a short rest.
Mm-hmm.
And then, really, because on short rests I get second wind.
He's asking if he can get his
Which
second
is-
wind back before a long rest.
Yeah, which is basically
Like,
an extra hit
don't
die.
skirt around it. We know exactly what you're trying to do here.
Technically, it's a short rest. You're having 2 hours of eating, resting. So, yes, I can give you a short rest. No problem.
Sweet. So, I don't actually have a D10.
What? Oh, I didn't want to reset to maximum HP. There, I'm back.
Like, don't worry, Fisher. We see you.
Oh, well, yeah. I only rolled a 3 on it, so. Plus
I mean,
4.
that's still 7 HP
7,
that you
yeah.
didn't have before.
Yeah, I never spit on additional whatever.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to
Man.
find?
I will use a healer's kit to not have to make the medicine check to spend hit dice.
Well, I didn't specify that you had to succeed it. I just said that a successful check needed to be done. Jorg, if you have a good medicine, you could always
Oh.
make.
Yeah, my medicine is good. Do you want me to try to heal you while we rest?
Hey,
Or
Jorg,
do
you
you
know
wanna-
about trees and stuff? Can you help me out?
Ooh.
I am a tree, after
Yeah.
all.
I'll pull out my wrenches. Yeah, I'll do it. Cool.
I
A
wonder how this
non-natural
looks.
20 for that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Hey.
So that means I can just spend hit dice like normal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The up to half your maximum hit dice on a short rest, and everything you have on a long rest. Hey, Chaotic Calling has just joined us. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
All right. So you all take a. You all take your rests. Anything else you'd like to do before going to sleep? All right. Yeah, I hate it when
Alright.
things aren't
I
cooperating.
used 3 hit dice and I'm back to full.
All right. Just like the normal rule in the player's handbook, you only regain half of your total hit dice pool when you take a long rest. That I didn't change.
Wait, how many
Yep.
hit dice do you have? You said 3? I thought you only had 2 max. Like you could only use 2 max.
I know he's taking
No, we-
them for the long rest.
Yeah.
The long
You
rest,
can
you
only-
can spend everything you have. The short rest, it's no more than half.
Oh, so I could spend 4?
You can
Yeah,
spend
if you wanted
4.
to, you
Yeah.
can spend 4.
But you're only going to regain
Okay,
2.
I need a D.
Yeah, you only
10.
get 2 back.
Oh,
I used
I
all
only had to
4 of mine,
roll 1 hit die.
Oh, look at you go.
but maybe I shouldn't have done that.
So I gain, what, 16? I get 16.
Why isn't there a
Damn.
hit dice area on D&D
I don't
Beyond?
know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
That
it
there's-
is. There is. It's,
Where?
look under short rest.
Oh.
Yeah, because remember, normally, like under normal rules, long rest just fully heals you anyway. So
Yeah.
normal rules, you only use hit dice during your short rest.
hmm
Yeah.
But really just like a counter thing, like there is on Roll20.
Uh-huh.
It's like, here's how many short or hit die I have.
Alright, I used 2 and I'm back to 37.
Okay. That's reasonable. You've all stopped bleeding on the floor. Because you were all under 50%. So basically, you were all bleeding on the floor as you were making your way inside this room.
Oh.
As you
I
entered the
resent
room,
that. I was actually in very good state after Jorg gave me that last big heal.
so as you
Yeah, I was-
entered this room, we have drops of blood and whatever slimy stuff comes out of Fisher when he's bleeding.
Yeah. Sap.
Yeah, that's probably as close as you can get to that.
Plus like oily sap.
All right, so you all bed down. You prepare for the night, and Fisher, I believe you said you take guard duty.
Yeah.
All right. So make
On
a perception roll.
check or something.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's a 3. This is a pretty cool new sword.
He spends part of the night just looking at his sword. You do hear on
You know what? There does come a time in every Robo Boy's life where he becomes unusually
Acutely aware
fascinated
of
with
his sword.
this long sword,
and now
especially at night when everybody is asleep.
And now it's a bit longer. It's a great sword.
Yeah.
So, at a few moments during the night, you do hear Terranad go, "Aren't you supposed to be looking at what's coming in and not what you got in your hands?" Oh, that really doesn't help the image we just painted.
Just start
We're the only
stroking
ones
it
in
gently,
here. It's us and a bunch of
fascinated by its luster.
dead bodies. We're good.
All right.
Plus, I'll hear it if something's coming.
Well, are you sure about that? No one seemed to have noticed that we left the corpse of Oronak in the other room.
Yeah, but we don't need it.
Did we grab the acorn at least?
No.
Maybe would have grabbed the acorn.
I thought you did at the end of last session. Was that not?
No, that's me
No,
that I
okay.
told
I
you.
would
Please.
have grabbed the acorn if nobody else did. I will.
No,
say.
you're not grabbing the acorn. We already learned what happens when you have the acorn.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, since technically audience, just take care of yourself, man. We're not that
Smacked
angry
his
with you,
hand
you know.
on something. You okay there, bud?
We're not that angry at you, you know.
I slammed my head to the desk. Fuck. Ow.
All right. Well, as I was starting to say, since technically audience would have been there, and so far he has never forgotten to take the acorn, he would have probably mentioned to take the acorn. And Remy would have
don't
taken
need
it
it yet. We can't plant him until we get back outside. So
Yeah, but if you forget about the acorn, you can't summon him again.
yeah.
All right. So,
By the way, is this acorn an actual item, like in the D&D Beyond, or is that just
I think it is.
Yeah,
think I
it's
made
in
it.
Sam's inventory.
if it has a formal name?
It is the elemental seedling.
All right. So, as Fisher, you don't know why, but in the middle of the night, audience starts punishing himself for something.
He's having night terrors.
He's thinking about having lost the battle, you know. He just wakes up. I didn't. Oh,
I hardly noticed.
no, you're looking at your great new sword. So,
Yep.
so the next 8 hours. The next 8 hours go by, as far as you can tell, without any problem. You know, it feels a bit lonely. There's not a lot of noise. It feels like a bit of a cavern that's just better made. You don't even hear the distant water dropping. It's just silence.
Oh, speaking of which, I take out Terry
Oh, okay.
and
Oh yeah.
give him something to drink.
Well, as always, when you audience, are you drunk?
I don't know what you're talking about. Never. I could never be drunk. It's not St. Patrick's Day at all. I love you guys.
Oh.
Okay. Well, then
He's
apparently,
perfectly fine. What are you talking about?
apparently, someone slipped a little bit of alcohol in audience's water when he was drinking. Good lord.
Remy thought that tonight was his night.
Oh.
Wait, but it is St. Patty's Day.
It is Patty's Day. That is the joke, Gabe.
Oh.
All right. So, as always, when you open the box, Terry looks at you. You're not sure why. You're not sure what he's doing. If he just intently looks at you. You just drop a little bit of water in his box, and he goes toward it and drinks a bit.
Mhm.
You do notice that there is an arrow stuck in the box. Fortunately, it hasn't gone completely through the wood of the box.
Oh, that's good. I will take that out. So I didn't used to have a water skin, because why would I? But you said there was back when we were looting all the other adventures
Yeah.
multiple times, there was enough stuff to get together a explorer's pack, which
Yeah.
I believe has a water skin
Yeah.
in it. So
Most pack have a water skin.
because one water skin is probably enough for Terry for like a month. So
Something like that. At the very least, a few days. At the very least, a few days. All right, so give him a little bit of water, and he just gets ready to drink, and then just keeps on watching you.
Yep.
I feel like we should have started this episode in an inn. It would have been more appropriate. Alright, but with your roll, the night goes uneventful as far as you're aware, and aside from being eerily quiet, it's hard to it's hard to see anything else. It's a cozy pillow fort. Now you sort of understand why kids keep saying, especially the rich ones, because the younger ones don't have, the poorer ones don't have what it takes to make a pillow fort. But you've heard a few rich kid talking about this, and you sort of get the appeal.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here admiring this new sword and my dope fort that I built.
And the evening goes like this without any problem, as far as you can tell. When you wake up, or rather when everyone starts waking up in the morning, and then Terry is still watching you carefully, intently, nothing happened. At least it's 8 hours later. Which means you're in the evening, actually. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So, what do you do?
How's everybody doing? We got attacked again in the middle of the night, but I fought them all off, so we're good.
Somehow I doubt that.
Well, I rolled a 3 deception check, so
Yeah, Remy just looks at you.
Your passive insight is enough to figure out.
I was gonna say, I'm thinking I can just see through that.
Even audience has a good enough passive insight to realize that Fisher's joking.
Well, shall we?
Yeah. So that one was the path to the right. That was the long turning hallway, right?
So the room in which you are has 4 exits in total. There's one that is right above you. If you take the room and place it with the upper part is north. The door that is on the northern side of this imaginary map leads to the room where there were the 3 bodies and the receptacle with every single school of magic radiating from it. The one directly south is the long corridor with the 3 traps inside of it. 3 elemental traps. On each side of this room, more like in the lower corners, there are corridors. One leads the one that would be to the west leads to a caved-in corridor, and the one leading to the going east leads to the room where you had this huge fight, and there is one door in that room that you haven't explored. That is what you have available right now.
I say we try and go check out the door that was on the other side of that armory room.
I think that's a good idea.
As
It's really the only place to go.
yeah, other than taking a crack at that room that you really didn't want us to take a crack at, Remy. So
In fact, if you guys started walking over to that puzzle room,
Maybe would be freaking out.
Ray would just like immediately sound the alarm.
Audience, I hope you're not trying to say something because you're muted if you're trying to say something to us. Oh goodness, I think he's completely wasted.
He
It looks
might be.
like he's in a lot of trouble.
Are you sure it's only alcohol that you took?
Supposedly.
Can we unmute him? I don't think
No.
so.
He has muted himself for the ringing noise that the interference or whatever his mic produces. I think at this point, bonus that, yeah.
I hope he's laughing at the situation because
Well, I recommend that we stop joking for a little bit so that maybe he can get his bearings together.
Yeah.
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 all right. So
Anyway,
well, exactly
onto the room. Onto the room, please.
Yeah, where are you going exactly? So the room with the puzzles, or
Starts going down the pathway back to the gallery room.
yeah, back to the gallery room.
okay. So
Now we took everything out, so there shouldn't be anything there that can attack us.
you enter the room, and again everything goes up and starts attacking you again. Oh, damn it. No, so
One of those rooms you can just refresh and then loot again.
the monster just respawned. So you go back down the corridor, and you go back in the room, and you look around, Everything still seems to be same as it was. The door on the other side is still unlocked.
Remy, you want to check it for traps first?
I see how it is.
I mean, I'll help.
I mean, Remy would do it, but just out of instinct. But could have been better. 14.
All right. So, you get to the door, you look at it, and as expected, it is unlocked now. You notice that you can turn the handle, and it's probably gonna open. As far as you can tell, you can't find any traps on it.
Yeah, if I were to help, would that also be an investigation check? Or can I even?
Yes, sure you
It's
can.
not a huge... Okay. That's 16.
16. That's roughly the same answer that you get, since you only rolled one more. So yeah, you look around. Remy did a good job.
Well, at any rate, Remy is going to try to carefully open the door and peek his head in before opening the door fully.
All right. So you just slightly open the door. You look in. Make a perception roll.
That'll be a soft 20.
Okay. Well, you do notice that there's a lot of crossbow bolt everywhere also. Other than that, the corridor seems to be quiet. There's only one light source that you can see roughly in the middle of it, and the corridor itself looks like it's at least 100 or 150 feet long. Judging from the orientation of it, the corridor doesn't go straight. Basically, roughly, I'd say 5 feet after you open the door, it curves. And it goes on like this for a long while. Long enough that you think it's actually going under the hallway on the upper floor, going to the other side.
So I guess Remy would then just open the door all the way so that everyone else can see the crossbow bolts thrown across the floor.
Well,
This also would have been a dangerous room, apparently, if they'd been inside it.
I guess it's a good thing we weren't in all of the rooms when we first triggered that. But
Imagine how bad it would have been if you'd been omniscient.
yeah,
I'm everywhere. Oh!
that
Although,
just seems
I
like
guess-
poor trap design.
Yeah.
Depends on what.
Like if it gets triggered in one spot, unless you're like a really big party, then I guess it makes sense. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But what if they're hiding in
Just
one room?
yeah, I'd say museum rules again going forward for now.
All right. So,
What is a museum? Don't answer that.
well, George, it's a fair statement. You've heard of them, you've just never been in one.
It's
Uh-huh.
a place rich people keep fancy stuff that they show off to other people, but you're not allowed to touch the fancy stuff because it's fancy.
I see, because it'll make the armor come to life and attack you.
And then everyone
Remy,
looks
yeah,
at us.
museums are like banks. You can deposit anytime you want, and you can deposit anytime, but definitely withdraw more than you deposited.
Interesting quote. I wonder in what situation that came originally. So,
You know exactly what situation it would have been.
So you all enter this hall.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you enter. You start making your way. Like I said, it's quite long, and takes maybe 1 or 2 minutes to get to the other side, especially if you're going slowly, carefully. You reach the other side of the corridor, and the corridor does the same thing. After maybe 150 feet, it turns sharply to your right, and there's only a 5 feet space between the corridor and where there's another door. This door, however, is slightly ajar.
Presuming that Raimi has the spatial awareness, could he reasonably assume that perhaps this hallway probably eventually leads to connects in some way to the other hallway that was blocked off?
Let me see. Well, you can always make an investigation roll, because I took the time to read everything that investigation could encompass, and that would be part of it. Or you can just rely on your passive investigation, which is also very high.
I'll go with passive for now, just because it's more of an inkling, but there's technically no evidence of it.
No. Based on the distance, you'd say that there's a pretty good chance that it does connect to the room that seemed to have been severed on one end. Basically, this laboratory would be symmetrical.
Maybe just says to the others, "Quiet like mice," as he just peeks his head through the doorway.
All right. So you push the door slightly, just so that you can actually push your head inside, and you look, and we're gonna take our break here.
I rolled a 16 on my... Or, no, that's... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Disadvantage. Yeah, no, 4 on my stealth check. When he says, be quiet, Fisher kicks something.
You stubbed your toe at the bottom of the door just as Remy was entering, and so Remy is trying to be quiet and just slightly open the door, looks inside, and you hear... And this is where we're gonna take our break. And I see we have one of my friends that is actually there. Hey, salut. And I'm saying this in French because he barely speaks English, so... Content de t'avoir parmi nous. Désolé que tu puisses pas entendre trop ce qui se passe. Alright, so we're gonna take our break here. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. So, see you all in 10 minutes. And where's my mouse pointer? When we're gonna know what's inside the room. And basically, if everyone needs to fight again, if the room is exactly the same. See you all in 10 minutes. Bye. Aha, welcome back everyone. And yes, for Ultimatics, you would be the first donor right now if you became a Patreon donor. And I would actually very much appreciate it. Just make sure you're not drunk right now so you don't regret it in the morning. Speaking of which, as you can see, we have the art for audience. Don't worry, the player is still there, although he might not make a lot of comments. but he is still there. Just have a little issue with the video part of the stream tonight, as you might have guessed. And if you want to know why we have a short break, it's because the stream is at least 3 hours long. And, you know, a few decades ago in theaters, when you had a 3 hour long show, they would give you a bathroom break. Because a lot of people can't hold it more than 2 hours. This is why we have a short break. So, now that this is out of the way, welcome back. Thank you for wishing us a happy St. Patrick's Day. I have a friend who would most likely very much enjoy it. I'm talking about a female friend, not our paladin friend. So, let's go back to what is going on right now. So, oh, don't worry. He's still there. It's just a camera problem. But Sam is very much still there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See? So, a little bit more happy than usual, but he's still there. Alright, so you enter this room that you've just evaluated. You push the door slightly, you hear Fisher stub his toe on the wall just next to you, completely ruining any surprise that you might have hoped to gain by entering this room. But fortunately, as you push the door and enter the room, you notice there was most likely a shower of bolts here also. But the first thing that you notice as you make one step inside is that the floor is wet. And this is when you realize you're just entered inside of a small research laboratory. There's a lot of broken glass everywhere. And most likely, the fact that the floor is wet is what was inside. Basically, what happens in your mind when you when you think about this, it's you remember the first Men in Black? With a little ball that jumps everywhere and then enters the place where there's all of the vials, and that probably happened with the traps of the crossbow bolt shower. Other than that, the room seems to be quiet. There's a lot of storing room. There's a desk that you can see on your left. On the wall. To the right, there was a display there, but it's mostly broken glass now. On the wall to the right, you see that there's actually quite a long working desk with shelves on top of it. Again, most of what was on top of the shelves you would estimate were potion and vials and things like this, because most of it is just broken glass and dripping liquid. There are a few that seems to have survived, but not a lot of them. On the desk, however, under those shelves, you see a very impressive machine. You're not sure what it does yet. You just see that there's a few levers on it, receptacle where you can place things. You do notice that there's a few marbles still falling from the desk. So most likely there was a glass bowl there filled with marbles of different colors. They are just slowly rolling down, falling on the floor. Most of them have most likely made their way during your night. So right now it's just one that just... toward the end of the room, you notice that there is one of those desks that you can actually open from the top. One of those writing desks that you actually... Fisher, that would be very similar to the one that you have in your mental room. Fisher, you're muted.
Yeah.
It's most likely very similar to the one that you have in your mental room, except with different colors. But it's the same kind of desk. You can open the top of it. It's slightly rounded, like the top of a chest. There's a chair filled with darts inside of it. And completely at the back of the room, basically just a little bit to the left of where you have another door, also slightly ajar, which, from what you deduce, Remy, would most likely lead to the corridor that's been caved in. You do see two large cylinders there, broken. A lot of liquid has fallen from those. They were most likely filled with some sort of liquid, and they're as tall as Fisher. So it's a very large cylinder. Fisher would be able to fit inside of one of each one of those. That's about everything you see.
All right. So you said that there are two desks in this room?
Yeah, when you enter, there's one that's right to your left. You get the feeling that this was a research desk. There's a lot of papers in there. Unfortunately, there's a few books which seems heavily damaged by all of the bolts that came in, but they're still functional. And there's one at the other end of the room, which looks like a writing study, with one that you can open. Usually, sometimes they're also locked.
Before we go walking around in here, does it look like is like the entire floor covered in liquid? Or is it just some spots? And
no, it's not a lot of liquid. It's maybe a quarter of an inch of liquid, just enough to while you're walking. But it's all the floor seem to have been soaked in some way like this. There's not really. You'd estimate by the size of the two cylinders at the other end of the room that most of this liquid probably came from those.
Okay. Because basically I just want to make sure we're not stepping in anything or disturbing anything in a way that would make it go boom, seeing as there seems to be lots of different possibly magical potions that were mixed together here on the floor.
Well, yeah, and you can actually make an Arcana roll. Both Fisher and Remy, you would be able to make an Arcana roll on this. There can be some really weird consequences from mixing potions together.
Not a great roll, but that ends up being a 16.
Okay. Remy?
Not much better, a 17.
Okay.
Oh, wow, way to one-up me.
Well, you one-up him when you were looking at the door. Now he's one-upping you. It's the contest. You see him, you're writing. No. I think. Yes, you think there is a danger. Probably not a big one, since it's been 8 hours. So potions which don't have a permanent effect or would lose their effect in a few hours most likely have gone inactive by now. But there is a danger. Some potions are permanent, and there is always a risk of unpredictable result when mixing potions.
Now, with that same Arcana roll, does Rampy know the consequences of potion dilution in terms of effects?
Not on everything. Yes, some can be diluted. You know that it does happen sometimes that people that find a very potent healing potion will try to just dilute it, and they can actually manage to make several small potions of healing. But a lot of potions tend to be more like an egg. It's strong enough as it is. It pops up and has its effect. But if you start to soften the shell, the result can sometimes just fizzle out.
And
It's very difficult to know and see what the result will be. There's actually a lot of mages that simply say don't do it because it is unpredictable.
do we get the feeling like the possibility of even like stepping in some of this could be hazardous, or just don't lick the floor?
That should be all right. You don't have any kobold in the group. But the problem is that you're missing some elements of the equation. You don't know what the potions were. If you knew, you would be able to tell. But since you don't know what the potions were originally, it's really a guessing game. You'd say it's 50-50%.
As a general precaution, since we don't know the nature of the potions and like whether or not how effective they still are, Raimi is going to pull out his decanter, unscrew it, hold it upside down, and you just hear it. And you just hear periodically every 6 seconds as he starts making his way over to the other side of the room. To stream, as he is basically just trying his best to dilute his pathway toward the desk.
You're basically using your decanter as a fire hose.
Essentially.
All right, so you enter the room and pushing everything you can toward the other end, or at least extremely diluting it. Like this, you can enter the room. One thing's for sure is that it's not acid, and it doesn't react to water, which could also have been a possibility. No potions in there had a acidic or electric property. So, yeah, you get in. You can manage to hose it down a little bit. Actually, would he have... I think it would have been poorly made if he hadn't. All right. And since the water doesn't seem to be going up, you do deduce that there's probably some way of evacuating the water somewhere. Somewhere there's a little hole that's preventing the water from accumulating in the room. So it takes a while.
There he is.
But you manage to mostly clean the floors.
I guess satisfied with his work, he starts making his way over to the study desk, and he's just going to start investigating. There's probably not much salvageable on the top, but start searching the drawers and just because there's always the possibility, even looking for secret compartments that might be not noticeable to the eye.
So basically, the first desk near the entrance, you go at this one and you start rummaging through all of the scroll, damaged books, drawers. All right. Make your investigation roll.
And since I have the charge for it, Raimi is going to activate his lantern for advantage on it.
Okay.
Okay, there's that one.
while he's doing that, if enough of the floor is cleared, I'd like to start going around and checking to see what, if any, potions or vials haven't been broken,
Okay.
and what they are, like if they're labeled or anything.
Okay. Make an investigation roll.
Maybe
17.
gets a 21 on his investigation.
21. All right. Fisher, you rolled what?
17.
17. Jorg, is there anything you'd like to do? I know it's a bit out of your element, but
He there's not much he wants to do. He's just gonna look around and wait for them.
okay.
Yeah.
Standing awkwardly.
In the middle of the room, just looking at
Yeah.
audience. So,
Actually, I think he'd actually be interested in the. George is gonna go over to the potions too and kind of see what's still there.
okay.
Yeah, druids can like make healing potions, right?
Yeah,
So like
of course.
you kind
Yeah.
of know.
Yeah, I know my way around some potions.
You're all right. You can make a roll for yourself, or
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna do that. A 5.
You're looking at all the broken glass. Not much left, huh? I think there were potions. I recognize the colors of a healing potion here. It's mixed with this purple stuff. I don't know what it is. There's something. There's something at the back of your mind. You don't know what that says lick it, but you resist. And then you remember the sponge action of Terry, and you. Well, I wonder what is going to happen if I put it.
Oh yeah, if we put Terry in it, see what happens.
So, all right, Remy. Remy.
Terry's staying safely in his box.
Wow, you're making a good parental decision. You're getting better at
he
this.
came out of a weird potion. Maybe it'd be a good idea to make a swimmer out of it.
You don't know why he grows wings and start hissing. So, Remy, you look through this desk, and well, there's not a lot of it that's useful for your future, but you do have an idea that currently the gnome was working on something 400 years ago when the laboratory was sealed. And from everything you can read, you see that he was working on a very, very old concept of magical energy opposing themselves. Nowadays, it's no longer a very oppressing issue, as they've found ways to go around this. But when you do work on a very, very elevated level, you have to be mindful of those, because energies from the different school will oppose themselves and even cancel each other out. On the desk, you do find a drawing of the arcane wheel. It's something that you've only seen once or twice, because like I said, it's no longer something that is important for the average magical user, but for those doing research, it is important. And actually, I'm going to send it through Discord, because I can't put it on the stream. It is still copyrighted. So you find this image, which is basically two squares. For those of you who might be wondering what this is, it's two squares placed so that one side would go in the middle of. It's sort
Looks
of
like a star.
Yeah, to make a little bit of a star. And as a matter of fact, there is a star in the middle of it. And you do see from the drawing what school oppose what schools. So for studies of higher levels, that would be important because it would affect the quantity of energy that you have to put to either overcome an opposition or accommodate for what might influence it. So he was heavily working on that. And you do recognize something that is a little slightly familiar. Although it wasn't finished, you do recognize the drawings of the receptacle in the room that you detected every single magical school on. It looks like maybe the prototype of it.
Keeping that in mind for now, Raimi is going to make his way to the other desk.
All right.
And give it a once-over as well.
All right. While you do this and roll for your investigation, I'm going to go to Fisher. Fisher, there's not a lot of potions that survive this onslaught of bolts. You do manage to find 6 potions, which seems to have survived it. Almost 7, but the 7th one, you notice that the glass is chipped and it's slowly leaking. So you're not even sure if there is enough of the dose left in it. But 6 of them have actually survived this hail of crossbow bolt. Unfortunately for you, everything is written in gnomish.
Nuts.
One of them, however, isn't labeled, and the potion is inside a completely opaque receptacle. It's not a big potion. You'd estimate that there's maybe enough for 1 good gulp, or if it's something that's extremely potent, several doses, but so it's probably not something that you will have several doses of, but unfortunately there's no label on it. And the vial itself is completely opaque, so you have no clue what's inside of it, the color of it, the consistency of it.
How is it stoppered?
It's a it looks like a, oh goodness, what's the name of the material?
Like, is it just like a regular like cork, or is there like a lock or anything, or some special mechanism?
That was it, cork. There does seem to be a cork on it. However, it has been sealed with wax.
Right.
So there's one there. The container itself is black. So for now, until Remy identifies it, you can just label it as a black potion or black vial of potion. You do hear there's liquid inside when you just jiggle it a bit. You do hear a slushing sound, and it doesn't explode. So you know that it's not something that's going to explode if you if you shake it.
That's good.
As for the 5 others,
remembering audience speaks Gnomish, I think I will take them over and just ask them what they say.
Audience looks slightly in despair right now. Probably a bit tired of being the group's official translator for everything Gnomish. 2 of them are easy to read. So one thing you don't see, everyone listening to this, you see the overlay, but I also have the actual Skype window. Right now, Sam is laughing so hard, we can only see his shoulder going up and down. So This is why we're having trouble keeping our composure. So you do see on 2 of those potions, they're healing potions. Goodness. This is, I don't know why I keep forgetting the different names of the levels.
So there's
Greater.
normal, then there's greater, then there is superior and supreme.
Yeah, superior.
It's the second level.
Greater.
Greater. Yeah, that's it. I had it here. I actually wrote it down in one of my notes because I keep forgetting the different. So 2 of them are greater potions of healing. The 3 others, unfortunately, gives you absolutely no clue of what's inside. You read it, and you get the feeling that the mage most likely had its own way of classifying things. Because it's just a name of different ingredients that are written on it. And you really don't have the necessary proficiency to know what ingredients will give what potions.
If he tells us the ingredients, can either me and or Jorg see if any of them ring a bell?
You can try.
I don't have a ton of experience with potions.
No, that's.
But I know magic a little bit.
So
and Jorg kind of knows potions.
I'd say expect a DC that's not the easiest one, but yes, you could try.
What kind of check would that be?
I'd say investigation or arcana. Investigation, just for reading it. Arcana, because you could rely on your knowledge of magic and try and deduce, oh yeah, that this and this could result in something like this. I'd allow for both.
I'll do the arcana. Oh man, I got a 12.
I'll also try for arcana because that's the one that Terranad's helping me out with.
Okay.
That's 16.
Oh, it's not bad. That's with or without?
That is with him. Without is a 14. As always.
You really like giving me this.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, he's being helpful.
Yes, of course. So, with this, is there one that you'd actually be able to? No, that's too much. That's too much. Well, there's one that you can actually deduce. And you're struggling a little bit. It's thanks to Terranad, who actually at the last minute says, oh, no, you're going the wrong way with this. There's a little bit of graveyard soil mixed into this. It's most likely a potion of radiant resistance. And the reason why you were about to say necrotic was because, I did feel like, graveyard soil, but he does bring the precision that it's sanctified graveyard soil. So, okay. As for the other two, no, you didn't roll high enough to deduce. Meaning they are at least of a rare level.
Does identify work on potions?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So you pocket the other two.
Remy, what do you found over there?
Remy.
And you see, this is why I like advantage, because the first roll I had was a 7, but then the second roll I had was a 19, so 24 total.
Okay. So, all right, you get inside this desk, and this one has a sliding top that you can pull. All right. So, you start investigating this, and you see, all right, well, this doesn't seem to be trapped. You don't see any wards on it that are easy to see. There is a lock on the part of it that you open at the top, but the lock seems to be open right now. You actually can see a little bit of distance between the lower and upper portion of it. So, all right, well, the best way to see what's inside is by opening it. If you don't see anything that would indicate it's trapped, do you open it in your investigation? I'm wondering if you want to go to the drawers or opening the top first.
He'll start from the top and work his way down to the drawers.
So, you put your hand on the drawer, you open it. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. There's nothing inside. Then you try to take your fingers off the top and your fingers are stuck. You look inside and you see two little balls appear, and it tries to snap at you, slowly disshaping. You've just put both your hands in a mimic.
It was a mimic? Okay. Okay, I see how it is.
And this is when the puzzle sort of hits your head. You look beside yourself and, oh, it was probably in one of the tubes.
One of the big
One of the
water
big tubes was most likely a mimic in its shapeless form.
noise.
So, Remy, at least Remy and the mimic, you can roll for initiative. But anyone else who wants to join in this...
I'll get in.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It might take me a bit.
Ooh, I got a nat 20.
Oh, shit.
That's my first one
Nice.
that I can remember. Maybe it's not.
I believe it's for your initiative. It's your first one, I believe.
Yeah.
George, here you are. So for a total of 20...
22.
22. Remy?
9.
Apparently you were really surprised by this beast chomping on your hands. Fisher?
3.
Apparently you were also very surprised by this. Audience, do you feel well enough to enter this fight?
Remember, you have to unmute yourself to answer. So maybe not.
You're still muted, audience, if you want to take part in this. Alright, so since audience is not unmuting himself, I will take that as him not being able to join us for this. Okay, I have his character sheet right here. I'm pretty sure he would at least try and join the fight, so... Oh well, he rolls a good initiative. +3. Alright. So, Oh, it's a good thing he find this funny. All right. So apparently we have audience and Jorg going first. As you suddenly see Jorg, you turn around as you hear Remy squawk because his hand were just apparently eaten. Don't worry, Remy, you still have your hands. Were just eaten by this desk who just popped out a pair of eyes and is trying to chomp on Remy.
All right. So we rolled the same initiative.
Yes, but who has better dexterity? What's
audience?
What's your?
Mine's 2.
+2? Yeah, it would be audience. Audience, do you think you are well enough to suggest a course of action for audience? Remember, you have to unmute yourself if you want to give me that answer. All right.
You can see the wheels spinning.
I think. Is he typing?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. We're gonna have to go with I think he is trying to figure out.
Run up and smite it. Hit with longsword.
Maybe he completely forgot about this and he's doing something unrelated.
I don't know.
It's entirely possible.
Yes, it is. And all right, so since he's not reacting to this or unmuting himself so we can hear him, I'm gonna have to just say that he turns around and tries to hit the poor creature with his sword. Since he has been holding his smite so far, I don't know if he's talking to me or not.
I'm pretty sure he's trying to say he's trying.
Okay.
Do you forget how to unmute yourself?
You can,
usually it's just the button on the bottom.
so that everyone can
microphone.
see that we're not kidding them, that he's actually really trying. Here's what we see. Right now, he hasn't went away, like I said.
Also, Control M will unmute you.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can just go with thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you attack? Attack with a sword?
Smile if you can hear us.
Blink twice. All right, we're gonna give a moment for Sam to try and figure this out. Jorg, what do you want to do?
Jorg is gonna get surprised and test out one of his new daggers
All right.
and throw it, or darts, with an 18
18 is enough.
for 6 damage.
All right.
And then after he throws it, he's gonna yell, "Look out!"
After he throws it.
Yeah, I've known someone who does that.
Hearing that, Fisher starts carefully putting the potions down before
So you said you did
jumping into the action.
you did 6 points of damage?
Yep.
6, all right. All right. So, ow. I just broke my pen's... Ouch. All right, so you throw this and the creature does slightly react like it's been stung by a mosquito, but not a lot more. Well, since audience, you're having trouble figuring out how to answer, I'm going to say that audience turns around and hits the creature with his sword. And since he's been holding back the smites, most likely because he's afraid that there's going to be a much bigger fight later on, I'm going to go with a normal sword attack. And I need his sheet to do this. Which is more than enough. 24. Which is the 8. All right. Plus 5 in total. So a D8. 10 points of damage with his sword. All right. Well, since there's only one monster and everyone's gonna clump up, I'm not gonna take out a battle map for that. I don't really want to try and imagine Sam right now trying to figure out where he goes on the battle map. Also, so. Alright, so you see Audience take out his sword and strike at the creature holding Remy's hand, trying to eat him up. The next one, if we go down, is Remy himself. So right now, because you have touched it, you are currently grappled by it. You can attempt an escape. It's his ability, it's an adhesive.
I am aware.
Okay.
I am aware. Now, since you said that both of my hands are grappled, the only thing I really can do is try to escape the grapple. There's literally nothing else I can do. So,
Yeah,
I'm going to attempt to roll acrobatics, but I think they're at disadvantage.
Yes.
In
Whenever
the case of a mimic, anyway.
Yeah, no. Whenever you try to break the adhesive that he has, it's always at disadvantage against the mimic.
Yep, not bothering to roll the second one. Raimi stays there,
Okay.
and that ends his turn.
Well, you're not immobilized. You're grappled. You could basically try and stab him if you wanted.
No, if I take an action to escape the grapple
I know.
and fail, I have 0 movement. I literally can't do anything. So
I know. I'm just saying. As the rules are stated, grapple doesn't prevent you from attacking.
no, but I use my action to try to break the grapple.
I know. Yeah. All right. So,
and I think you said I used both hands to open it, so they should both be stuck.
yeah, no. It's just the mechanic. It's a bit of a weird mechanic on this one because your hand are stuck as if you'd place your hand on duct tape. It's a bit weird that you can actually use dexterity to get out of it. But the rules do say that you can use dexterity to get out of this. And just like the grapple condition doesn't prevent you from attacking, but it does hinder you in attacking.
Well, the thing is that if both of my hands are on it, I obviously don't have a weapon in my hands. So it's literally impossible. So again, move on to the next person.
No. But your weapon does react to your will. You know, you can whistle it. Just saying for your next round. All right. So this is Remy.
No, I'm just saying that because again, both hands are on it.
Yeah, I know.
Even if I call it, I can't wield it.
It's one of those weird moments where the mechanic makes very little sense. The D&D mechanics make little sense with ordinary life mechanic. So the next one on the initiative is the Mimic with a 4.
Oh.
I know, it's frustrating. It's in a very good place to just try and eat Remy's hand. So he tries to just keep on eating you. You see this huge mouth that appeared from the desk that you opened with teeth just coming out, and these eyes looking at you, and then suddenly just trying to eat you. Your hands, fortunately, your hands are stuck on the top of his mouth, but he's still trying to bite your head off. Yes, of course, he has advantage against enemy grappled, which doesn't help him at all. So it's 18 to hit.
I don't have a free hand to shield, so it hits.
Well, take me.
No, you said I grabbed both of it. You said I grabbed it with both hands.
I know.
I have to take how you flavor it.
I know. Well, that's why I asked, because usually those things you open both hand. But I did. All right, so I did choose this for you. Honestly, and completely honestly, would Remy have been...
No, it is perfectly reasonable to open a writing desk with both hands.
Okay.
My mom has owned a writing desk.
Okay.
It is easier to open with both hands.
Okay. Actually, I do have a D8. Which means you take 7 points of piercing damage and 5 points of acid damage as it is trying to bite you, and you do feel the acid of him trying to absorb you. We go to Fisher.
Alright. After I'm done carefully setting down the magical potions, I will rush over and I am going to try and pull Rami away from the mimic.
Okay. Well, you can make a... I guess it would
athletics.
Be athletics. Yes.
Is that at disadvantage?
No, because you are not grappled by it.
Okay. Cool. Let's see if that matters. Hey! That's a 22.
Then definitely, Remy, there's a moment where it feels like Fisher is pulling on you so hard that your hands are gonna stay stuck on the desk. But fortunately, your hands do come with you, and Fisher managed to yank you out of the from on the mimic.
Sweet. And then I'll spin him around and put him down behind me and spin back towards the mimic and take out my fancy new greatsword.
All right. All right, then we go back to the top of the initiative with that. Go back to audience and Jorg. Jorg, you are currently muted.
Is audience going first this time, or?
I don't know. Audience.
I say assume not until
All right.
Says something.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go forward, just close enough to shank it with my spear, which I can now do 5 feet away.
Okay.
And I assume I'm doing it one-handed since I am holding my staff in the other hand. But can I put it away and go two-handed in one turn, or do I have? Oh, but I'm drawing my spear. Never mind.
Well,
so it'd still be probably one-handed.
Yeah, a spear still is something that can be used one-handed.
Yeah.
You also have the option of just letting your staff go. Just let it fall on the ground. That really doesn't take any sort of action.
Dropping a weapon is actionless.
Yeah, it was just in the water, and I got some stuff on it. Yeah, I'll just drop the staff and go two-handed.
It's gonna get all sticky.
With the 17 to hit?
Yes, it does.
Sweet. And 8 damage.
8 damage, right.
if I sawed the head off the spear, would it make it a +1 quarterstaff?
There's a chance that you're gonna damage your weapon, but you could.
I can try. No, it's not worth it.
Druids don't have any problems with spear.
I know.
It doesn't work
Just
for
saying.
Shillelagh, yeah. No, I'm cool with it. I like the spear because it gives me the range.
All right. All right. Audience, if you figured out how to unmute yourself and give an opinion on this fight, I'm giving you a few seconds. Otherwise, I am taking the action for you. Nope. Okay. I think he's partially zombie now. Where's my mouse pointer? All right. So, oh goodness, natural 20. Well, that's just too hard to resist, you know. I hope you don't have any problem with that. I'm gonna use a divine smite on the natural 20.
Same with smite. You can't. It's illegal to not smite on a crit.
Natural 20, yeah. Right.
It's like an actual crime, like in the Paladin Code.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. The additional tenant.
Weirdly, it even says natural 20, and nobody quite when they first read it knows what it means. But Paladins in the Order, they all know.
It's an additional tenant of every oath.
All right, so and divine smite, if I'm not mistaken, on level 1 is 2d8.
2d8s.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I have a truckload of d8s. No. Oh. Internet is not being kind to me right now. All right.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just because I'm using D&D Beyond for audience's sheet, and now Internet has decided to give me the middle finger. I just lost audience's sheet because of that. All right, I have it back. All right, so this means 5, 10, 20 in total. 20 in total, 25 damage in total. All right, well, apparently audience turns around, see this. See that Fisher has just placed Remy out of harm's way and just decides to go all out on this poor desk trying to survive. But managed to land this perfect blow. And so he calls forth the power of his god. And his weapon lights up and he strikes this desk, filling it with light. The desk recoils a little bit. It's not exactly injured right now, but it is trying to reel from the pain of this divine energy that's just been pumped into him. All right. Now we go down to Remy. As you see this light show in front of you, audience showing himself in the light of his god.
Yeah, while that light's going off, Remy runs up and stabs a bitch. There's really no There's really no other way of putting it. I'll be a 22 to hit.
That is enough.
Do we have advantage because we're all surrounding this thing?
I'll give it. Its back is on a wall. I'll give it.
Dope.
Anyways, that's 15 piercing.
15. No, that was just 5. Alright. Well, the blow definitely managed to land. It's starting to not like this. It's not looking injured, but it's definitely starting to wonder how bad it's gonna get.
Now that I'm thinking about it, how do you handle when weapons come into contact with the mimic?
Let's see if there is something on this subject.
Because I know some DMs actually have the weapons adhere to it when you try to stick to it, but others don't do that.
Yeah.
Just because of how ambiguous the wording is. And by ambiguous I mean
I know. Anything that touches the mimic is supposed to stick on it. I'd say, since it is a little ambiguous, I'm gonna go with with ordinary life logic. As long as you're using piercing or slashing, the adhesive is not gonna hinder you from pulling it back. Because the edge that strikes it is just too thin. It's too small.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, then Raimi uses a bonus action to move 10 feet away from the bitch.
Alright.
A la disengage and ends his turn.
Alright. No problem. Alright. So that means it's the mimic. So if you disengage, this means it has a choice between Jorg and Fisher. Let's go with you have odds. So it is even.
Or audience. They're all three surrounding it.
That's right. Sorry, I forgot.
Oh, but I'm 5 feet away because
I'm just saying, don't ignore the other high armor class
never mind.
PC.
Yeah, that's a pike.
Oh, never mind. I'm adjacent.
Yeah, you can throw a spear.
Yeah,
they don't have reach.
Yes, for 3 people, it's a D12. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. Jorg, you are being attacked by this creature who is rushing you.
Can I do Sam's sentinel reaction attack?
Yes, you can.
Someone else should have done it.
All right. So it does attack.
Oh, wait, advantage.
It does attack you, Jorg, with a 17.
That hits.
Right. It uses its pseudopod, meaning that it lashes out, throwing a part of himself, a bit like lizards do. Meaning that it does stick to you. You are now subject to the adhesive of the mimic, meaning you are grappled by the mimic. And you take damage.
Oof.
Audience hits it for 8 with a 19 to hit.
You are hit for 5 points of bludgeoning damage, and as soon as you see the tongue trying to retract, you realize that, oh shit, your body's following it. So you say 8 points?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you hit it like this, there is a bit of... I was going to say blood, but I don't know what the blood of a mimic would look like. But it's a bit of bodily juices starting to trickle from somewhere, from where you just hit it. It is starting to show injury. All right. Well, then it's Jorg's turn.
Jorg's.
Jorg's turn. No, sorry.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I was looking at Fisher. I don't know why I say Jorg. Probably because I just attacked him. Fisher, it's your turn.
Alright. I'm going to try out this new greatsword. That is going to be a
great hit.
Oh, yeah, that's a 26 to hit.
All right, go ahead. It wasn't a great hit, but it's a hit.
For 14 damage.
14, right. See, if I can find some music, this is the perfect moment for music. A little ambience music, you know, because it's combat time. All right, so we go back to the top of the initiative with Jorg and audience. Jorg, you can go.
Jorg's gonna try to get out with dexterity.
All right, go ahead.
Ooh, a 10.
Fortunately, that is not enough. You try and pull away, but you just can't manage. You can't find a way to twist a pseudopod in a way that breaks contact with you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, since it does have you within its grasp, it is going to try and bite you. And it has advantage on its attack.
Not yet.
Sorry? Oh, no, that's right.
Not yet.
There's audience
It's not
first.
your
Oh,
turn
okay.
yet.
There's audience first.
There's audience, then Raimi, and then the mimic's turn.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it had a reaction to me getting out or something.
No. Sorry. No, I'm getting... It's because we have one less player. I'm getting all confused. I keep having this message. You're forgetting someone, all right? No. All right. Yes. Audience tries to hit the creature for a... Hold on, I'm going to get audience's sheet again. 21. That is enough to hit. D8. Another 10 points of damage. The creature is starting to get nervous. You do have the impression that it is trying to figure out where it could go, how it could escape. Alright, so we go down to Remy.
Raimi gets close again to try to stab a bitch.
Alright, go ahead.
It has lost the privilege of being considered a creature. It is now just a bitch. Does a 17 hit?
Yes, it is enough.
Oh.
Mimics don't have very good
I've
armor
never seen a
class.
D4 hop that high before. For 11 piercing.
All right. Well, that blow definitely injured it quite a lot. As you pull your dagger, there is a large amount of blood that comes out of it, out of the injury that you just caused it. And it is getting very nervous about the way this fight is going.
Bonus action, disengage, back 10 feet.
It's afraid for his hands. All right. Now it's the mimic. Let's see. Well, it's getting a bit desperate. And it can't actually voluntarily remove someone from himself. So
Yeah, it literally can't move.
that's right. If it tries to move, it's gonna drag Jorg with him. So he wouldn't be able to hide. Alright, so he's gonna attack Jorg.
Go to the next room and just find Jorg stuck to some weird piece of furniture.
Why is your hand stuck inside the wall? Alright.
No, even better, it's stuck inside a cookie jar. It's like, wait, no, that makes sense.
Alright. So it's gonna try and bite you again for 21.
Yeah, it hits.
Alright. So you get 8 points of piercing damage and 10 points of acid damage as it is trying to dissolve you right now.
Wow, I think that's worth an absorb element.
It is
As a
poisonous
reaction.
damage. Yes, you could use this to reduce the damage.
Yeah.
Or acidic, not poisonous.
Oh, but it's still. Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, absorb
Oops.
elements does acid, but it doesn't do poison.
Oh. Well, cool.
You can
I
still
only
use
take
it.
15.
Absorb elements is perfectly fine for what you're doing.
Yeah, or 13 damage because I take 5 acid and 8
Alright.
regular. Ouch.
So as you see this acid just starting to fall on your hand and slowly dissolving it, you just manage to remain just conscious enough from the pain to cast the spell which envelops your arm and protects it partially from the acid that is trying to tear it away from you. My,
Yeah.
that is a gruesome round.
Yeah.
Fisher, it is your turn. As you see this creature trying to rip apart your friend's arm. Well, friend might be a bit of a strong word. You know, he's still not convinced you're a living creature.
I forgot. But before Fisher's turn,
Oh, yeah.
could audience do a
Audiences.
sentinel reaction attack?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a what's he get, a +7, so a 24 to hit
24 is enough.
for max 13 damage.
Oh. So as this creature chomps down on Jorg's arm and is trying to dissolve it, you see audience arrive and ram his sword right down the middle, all the way to the hilt. And you see the desk shape of the mimic slowly sag and start to revert to its shapeless form. It just pulls on the ground and it has been slain.
I've never gotten a kill steal from myself before.
Well, you can proudly say now that you have stolen your own kill.
Yeah. It's just how much of a team player I am.
You support yourself completely. Alright. So, as you see this creature revert back to its shapeless form, just a mass of gray, purple stuff oozing on the ground, letting you go. Jorg, you have your arm back, singed,
Yeah.
with a few blisters on it.
Well, I'm gonna heal it a little bit with a cure wounds at level 1.
And you said there were 2 tanks, right?
Yeah.
God damn it. Well, 5.
Do they look the same? Or does one of them look like it is empty? And the other one looks like it still has something in it, or
Both are
do they both look empty?
both are broken.
Okay.
I'd say make an investigation roll.
Randy would like to make a perception roll for the most intact objects in the room.
Okay, go ahead.
Anything that hasn't been hit by?
Jorg is
Ooh.
just going to power attack everything before he
That's only a 9 for my investigation.
Because
I
both.
would have had advantage, but I rolled a natural 20 on the roll.
Yeah, no, you really don't need advantage when you get a natural 20. All right, so for Fisher, you look at those two cylinders, and it's really hard to tell because both have been broken, and seeing what a mimic actually looks like, it could have easily just hopped out if there'd been two of them. Remy.
And the reason I made my roll is because I believe you said that the desk that I was inspecting was weirdly pristine.
Yes. Because the mimic had only taken this shape after everything had been pelted by crossbow bolt. You look around and nothing feels like it is unnaturally clean. Everything has either crossbows scratch mark on them or is dripping with liquid, which would mean that it wasn't moved. If there was something in the second container, it is either not in this room or has a shape that you can't identify.
Incidentally, how does the other door look?
Well, with a natural 20. All right, with natural 20. The door looks slightly ajar, but you do remember that the corridor was caved in, most likely due to an explosion. Which means it's a bit weird that the door is only slightly ajar if it was an explosion. But the door does seem to be damaged by crossbow fire. However, since it's ajar, you'd say that there is a chance that if there's a second mimic, it opened the door and left and is waiting for you on the other side of that door. There might actually be a large boulder piece that is actually a mimic on the other side. Might.
Okay. Because Remy is also thinking that if this laboratory is truly symmetrical, there might be an unexplored room between the laboratory and the caved-in entrance.
Well, if it's normally this corridor would lead back to the resting area, because this is where the caved-in place is. So if it's exactly symmetrical, it would just be a long hallway leading back to the resting area. If it's not exactly...
Wasn't the gallery its own separate room, though? Like, between the resting area and the laboratory?
Yes, but the way that it was described, it makes a sort of U shape. There is the resting room. You went down like this, and then you went to the door, went around like this, went up, and now you're in a room here. So if it's exactly symmetrical, it's just a long hallway. But there is enough room for a room to be in there, because the hallway is long enough. If it's not exactly symmetrical, there might be a room. If it's exactly symmetrical, it's just a long hallway leading back to the resting area, but it's supposed to have been caved in.
Mm-hmm. There was a machine in there that we haven't really looked at, right?
Yes, there is
Yeah.
a large contraption on the desk that is on the right wall.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Does it seem to be on?
No, right now it doesn't seem to be on.
Alright. Yeah, can we figure out what it does?
Make an investigation roll. Or Arcana. It is an arcane. It looks very intricate, so it most likely is an arcane machine. You could use that kind of knowledge to try and figure it out. Just tell me which one you're going with.
I'll go for Arcana.
And Ramey's lantern is still on, so investigation.
All right.
Hold
That'll be in 18 in investigation.
Hey, Jorg, could I get some help with this?
Yeah.
Some
Will help with the.
possible
You
guidance?
druid, you.
Uh-huh.
Does Jorg have guidance?
Yeah. Jorg will. Yeah. He will touch Fisher and give him some guidance. I was thinking of
Thanks,
giving
bud.
it to the guy in your chest, but I decided not.
Right. That is a class. Ooh, that makes it better. That is a dirty 20.
All right. So, with both of you trying to figure this out, Fisher trying to figure out the arcane properties of this, and Remy trying to figure out the mechanic properties of this. And Jorg praying in the background. You do manage to figure out. Okay, so there's a place where you can put in small marbles on the left side of it. They look a bit like the marbles that have been spread around on the counter, and some of them are actually on the floor. They have a whole bunch of colors. Actually, the colors of the marble that you can see with the roll that you made, I don't mind sharing you the colors. You find white marbles, brown marbles, purple marbles, pink marbles, orange marbles, blue marbles, green marbles, and red marbles.
Slow down.
All right, so
Right. White, brown, purple,
pink, orange, blue, green, and red.
green, and red. Okay.
There is a place where you can slide in these marbles on the left. There is a series of buttons which you think are meant to filter out something. And on the other side, there is a receptacle on which you can place different marbles. There is one lever that you think is how you activate the machine. It's most likely something that you can use to figure out the relationship of different magic.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Do
okay,
we-
I got it.
Is there Am I able to tell which color marble represents which school?
Make an Arcana roll.
Can I get guidance again?
Yeah, I can give you
Hey,
some
praying
like,
man, come on, do something.
Thanks, bud.
In future episode, try to do this before rolling.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, ho, ho. Hello. Okay, so first off, that's a nat 20
Okay.
plus a 4 from the guidance
Ooh, a nat 24.
equals a total of 31.
31. Good lord. All right. Well, you've studied magic quite a lot, and you have been able to.
I did it, guys.
You have been able to identify quite a few of those things because it does so happen that you have been looking at very ancient ways of doing magic while you were researching on yourself. And also, especially since you are very adept at using, I believe it's invocation and evocation and abjuration, I believe.
Yeah.
You can easily identify that there is a color behind invocation and evocation, which is red. And there is a color behind abjuration, which is blue. You're pretty sure that white represents either divination or illusion. And you think that orange represent summoning and conjuring.
Okay.
Does Fisher share this information?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Raimi, hearing this information, he is going to put white on one side, orange on the other,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and pull at the lever.
All right. It does take a few moments, but you put this in, you see the buttons light up, and the orange marble doesn't light up at the other hand, which, because of your rolls, you believe is actually the answer to this particular mathematic equation. White blocks orange.
So they
Alright.
do oppose.
So then,
Because okay.
yes.
Yep. So then that would mean that white would be divination. Which means
So like of the colors we haven't technically identified yet, is a color for enchantment, a color for necromancy.
What's missing right now is brown, purple, pink, and green.
mm-hmm.
Maybe is going to try.
Hazard to guess that necromancy is
Incorrect.
brown.
Maybe
Well-
is going to try pink and red.
Pink.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That could
which one are you placing in the left receptacle, and which one are you placing in the right receptacle?
I guess Raimi will put.
Which one did we put the white one in last time?
The white one you put in the first receptacle, which is on the left, and the orange one on the other end, right.
So do we get the sense, just so I'm making sure, if the one on the right doesn't glow, that means that its energy was blocked or somehow like opposed
Cancelled?
or something?
You'd
Okay.
say yes. Yeah.
And if it wasn't canceled, then that one would also glow. Or it would glow.
That's what you think.
Okay. Then
Actually, Raby, before he does that, he is going to swap the marbles. He's going to put the white one on the other side and the orange one on the other side. And then turn the machine on.
Okay. The white one doesn't glow.
All right. Is that then a safe deduction that the order doesn't matter because it will tell us that one blocks the other?
Fisher, if I believe, Terranad is on
Arcana.
and it was an Arcana roll that you made.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Fisher,
that's why it was 31 instead of a 29.
Yeah, so without Terranad, it would only have been a 29.
Fisher tells you this from inside.
Ooh, we're going to Discord.
Forgive me for my dyslexia. It's words like wouldn't
sure
are
I've
often
been-
getting completely scrabbled because I just switch out the letters.
If I've been able to read Sam's messages tonight, I think I can read yours.
This is what Terranad tells you. Because you rolled so high.
Wait.
Makes sense that you'd roll high, though. You're a construct, and this is basically a construct.
Yeah. I guess it might. Remy, detect magic isn't. You don't currently have it up, correct?
So Raimi shakes his head, but does hold up his book.
It, or at least Terraned had an idea that if this machine is reading magical energy, then that means the marbles are in fact magic, meaning that with detect magic you would just be able to tell which school is which marble.
Raimi looks a little bit disappointed.
You wanted to play with the machine.
Yeah.
But he nods and finds a dry place to pull out his book and start ritual casting detect magic.
Here, you want to make it more exciting? I'll race you. If you can get detect magic up before I can use the machine to figure out the different schools, then you get, I don't know, what, we'll put like 3 gold on the table. How's that? Is that more exciting for you?
Remy,
just...
you know that casting is 11 minutes. That's 11 minutes that he's giving himself to play with the machine.
Here in a very gruff voice, I know when I'm getting scammed.
So, what do? Do you keep
Fair
playing with the machine, or are you using detect magic?
He's using detect magic because he knows that, because now he's recognizing that Terranad's watching the whole thing. He doesn't like being judged.
Okay. So, you cast this ritual spell, and because of a little help from Terranad, because Fisher rolled a 31 total with a natural 20. When you finish casting this, first there is a whole bunch of colors appearing everywhere because there's the leaking magic that's coming from the potions that are still slightly active. So there's a garble of color which feels a bit like looking at a rainbow. So for a moment it's, oh cool. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that's actually pleasant. What are you talking about?
Well, the rainbow is a bit bright. It's a rainbow.
Yeah,
oh.
the brightest rainbow.
And
You're not exactly like making this a bad selling point here.
Do you stare at the sun?
So after a moment, however, oh yeah, that's right. I have to look at the marbles. You look at the marbles, and each marble does have a very, very faint magical aura to it, and each one of them has a very distinct one according to the color it is in. So as you look at each marble, make an investigation roll to see if you make a mistake. On where we are right now, it's really the only thing that can go wrong.
You gave up on a really good bad roll like ages ago. That was an 18.
18, all right. So you identify that white marbles represent divination, brown marbles represent alteration, purple marbles represent illusion, which is at one moment you go, oh, of course, every scroll I can read has a purple bow on it. Damn it. You get enchantment and charm has a pink color. Conjuring and summoning is orange. Abjuration is blue. Necrotic is green. And evocation is red.
So then, to make it easier, because like when Raimi found the wheel, was it actually a physical wheel, or was it just like
it was a drawing?
Like, was it a page on a sheet?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like Raimi, as he's doing this, is going to basically like put the appropriate colored marble on top of the area where it would normally be on the wheel to better clearly communicate their school to the others.
Mm-hmm.
Which gives disarrangements of color. I just sent it to you through Discord.
It's like the DM read my mind.
Well, it's actually what I'm using right now to give you. And I just realized that when I was giving you the colors, oh god damn it, I've been giving you the colors in order. Good thing no one noticed.
Okay. Well, now that we know these, were the balls in the other room where the other party died, were they different colors?
Make intelligence roll. It happened yesterday, so...
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Raimi will also make the roll since he's the one that actually looked about the room.
Yeah. I was busy doing other things in that room, so I got a 7.
Yeah, you were dismembering a corpse.
Is this just a flat intelligence?
Yeah, it's
or is
just
it a history
memory.
roll? That'll be a soft 20.
All right. You're not 100% sure, but I'd say you're probably like 90% sure. Yeah, those colors are familiar. And when you think about it, the receptacle was emanating every single magical school. Huh. If the marbles inside had been larger version of these marbles, this could have given that impression.
Well, I
With
guess.
that, oh, sorry.
Oh, can you see the schools of magic on these potion vials?
Oh goodness, now I'm gonna have to read the description very carefully.
As a little bit of a shortcut to a hint, because probably want to make the most out of that detect magic before it runs out.
Well, I'm gonna have to read this carefully and try and deduce what sort of magic might have been used to create them. So I'm not gonna bore whomever is still watching right now with this, and we're gonna say we end the stream as you've just had this brilliant idea and showing Remy the two potions. Do you think he can deduce what these might be? While Remy is holding all the marbles in his hand and looking at this and... Okay. Alright, so this is where we're going to end the stream for tonight. I'd like to give everyone the possibility to say goodnight to Sam, but he just left the camera on and he's not in front of it anymore. And as proof,
there's a fair chance he is there. He is just below the level of the camera, asleep on the desk. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Okay, well, in that case, I don't know. I can see a hand. No, there's nothing else. All right, so it wasn't his hand. No, it's his roommate. All right, so.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you all for watching. I hope you had fun. It was definitely a very different stream. And we hope to see you again next week, as everyone will be there. Because it's not going to be a special day. So thank you all for watching. Like I said, I hope you all had a pleasant evening. We had one. So thank you very much for watching. And as always, if you enjoyed the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And apparently there was someone who wanted to. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. But if you did, thanks very much. It's very much appreciated. And of course, you can always support us by making a donation or becoming a Patreon. All of these have links below that you can use to go directly to Patreon or to make a donation. It's going to go to a PayPal link if you just click on make a donation. But I'm going to appreciate it just as much. And of course, you can just spread the word of our channel, because the more people watching, the more fun it is, and also the more chance that I'll actually be able at one point to make a living out of this, which would be great for me because I'm tired of giving food samples in stores. So at least this is where I'm supposed to go back to when the pandemics end. So thank you all for watching. I hope you had a great time, and if you enjoyed, support us. If not, well, I'm going to be slightly mad at you, but you're not going to know. So see you all next week. As always, stay safe, and especially in those weird times, stay healthy. Bye.
Good night.